Hey everyone, welcome back to Garnock Reviews, where today we're checking out a 2004 Mainship Pilot 30. At the time of shooting this video, this one was for sale in Jacksonville, Florida for $107,500, and this one's listed with Mark Zeigler Yacht Sales. This model was available in either hardtop or softtop, and I personally think you're better going with the softtop option. You keep all the canopies enclosed, and it's the equivalent of being in a hardtop. But in the right weather, you can either roll these up or remove them altogether, and you've got that open cruising, giving you the best of both worlds. I personally love the fit and finish of this one. I love that dark painted hull, and as you'll see inside and out, this boat's ready to go. If I personally was buying this, I can't think of anything on board that looked like it needed replaced, repaired or upgraded. I also like the fact it's a multi-purpose boat, where you can use this for cruising, for fishing, for diving, or a combination of the above. If we step on board and make our way around, I like the fact that you've got the solid guardrail on the outside, but you've also got the solid handhold along the top of the canopy, making it feel very safe and secure when you're making your way towards the bow. Notice how clear the deck is, all your cleats and fuel fillers and things like that. They're all located in a way where you don't need to worry about tripping over it as you make your way along. I'm not sure if you can pick this up on the video or not, but the deck and also the deck on top of the coach roof has got non-slip deck. You can definitely feel it whenever you're walking along. There's room on the bow for sitting, and again if you wanted to do some fishing up here. And on the bow, of course, you've got the windlass. This is a Yanmar windlass, and it was actually replaced in 2021. And I like the fact that you can operate it here at the bow, but you've also got controls to operate it back at the helm as well. And the anchor locker is deep enough that if this was my boat, this is where I would keep the bow lines whenever you're not using them. That way they're easily accessible, and you always know where they are. And I like the framework that's involved with the pulpit. If you are anchoring or picking up a mooring, it feels very safe and secure up here on the bow. And then as I pan round, you'll notice on the port hand side, we've actually got fender baskets mounted up here. Again, it's a great way to keep everything accessible when you need it. And then as I pan round again, head and aft, you can see that classic Downeast appearance to it. But I also like the fact that this one's got a low air draft, so you don't need to worry about any bridge clearance while you're underway. For a 30-foot boat, I liked how spacious the aft cockpit was. You could put a couple of chairs out here for relaxing, especially at anchor. But you'll see that this has got rod holders throughout, because it has been designed for fishing, both onshore and offshore. You also have the ropes leading to the cleats underneath, again just keeping everything tidy and out the way. And this one does have a faucet mounted in the aft cockpit that you can use as a deck wash system. And that could come in real handy if you are going to be doing fishing on board. And then for those that like to do some swimming and diving, this one does have a shower mounted on the aft transom, and I like that this is accessible without having to go through the main accommodation, allowing you to get rinsed off first. We've also got a solid transom door, and I like that this closes and locks in place, especially if you only have young family on board. But when you do open this up, it leads out to an extended bathing platform, and this has got boarding ladders latched underneath to it as well. And then one of the biggest selling features of this boat is the canvas cover that's on here. This is obviously not original, it has been replaced, but it's presented in really good condition. And I like the fact that you can open it up in different sections, you can roll it up, you can remove it, and you can even convert it into a bimini top, or you can have this completely open as an open cockpit cruiser. And as you can see, the soft furnishings in the cockpit and at the helm seat, those are all in really good condition as well. And I like that there's backrest cushions. You don't always get that, and whenever you're up against the solid fiberglass, that can hurt after a while. There's plenty of comfort on this one. Underneath both the seats and port and starboard, there's additional storage space. And you can't really see it too clearly because it is in the middle of the day when I'm filming this, but the boat does also have a number of courtesy lights throughout. And I bet you this looks real impressive when it's lit up at night. And this cockpit does come complete with a cockpit table. It's got a real nice finish to it, and part of that is because it's been well protected. It's always kept under canvas when not in use. And it's got a clever design to it, especially for a 30-foot boat where space is a premium, where you can keep it enclosed, but you can also open it up. You can also rotate this as well as raise and lower it. It's easy to imagine enjoying a nice meal at anchor, sitting out in the cockpit watching the sunset with this one. And then as I pan round the canopy cover again, you'll see all the different sections that's attached to this one. But look at the craftsmanship that's went into it, and quality finish. There's no rips, there's no tears, there's no patches, there's no nothing like that. You also have good visibility, that you can easily cruise with everything enclosed. And I'll bet you that solid framework keeps the canopy tight, regardless of the wind outside. There's also good headroom in here. I'm 6'2", and I never had any issues. I never felt my hair touch the canopy at all. And then as we make our way forward, on the port hand side you'll find a co-pilot seat. I like that you get the solid chrome handhold on the outside. You've got a very comfortable seat that does rotate. You get a folding footrest. And then you've also got a PVC screen that you can lift up that you can put charts underneath to help with navigation. You could probably also get those whiteboard pens and draw on the screen rather than marking the charts as well. I like the solid windows that's on this one, and the centre window itself does actually open for more ventilation. And then in the starboard side, that's where you'll find a well-equipped helm position. This is a boat that I could easily enjoy for the day, for the weekend, or for longer. It's got a very comfortable helm seat, and again you do have the footrest in place. I love how clearly everything was labelled on board, and the toggle switches also illuminate, making it easy to understand what's switched on, switched off, and even more so at night. So if I jump up onto the helm seat, as if I were cruising underway, the first thing that jumps out is how accessible the throttle is. It's right by your side, but it's also in a way that it's not intrusive. Down below underneath the throttle is where you'll find a VHF radio. This is a Raymarine VHF radio and was replaced in 2015. And we've then got the Sidex Autopilot, and you've got your Raymarine. It's got a speed, depth, log, multifunction display unit. And above that you've got the Raymarine plotter, and again this was installed in 2015, and it's got a really clear display when sitting at the helm. You've got the compass on the dash. You've then got your main engine instrumentation, including your RPM, your fuel, your voltage, oil temperature, things like that. And then on the port hand side you've got your windlass controls that I mentioned earlier, where you can control the windlass from the helm. And below that you've got your trim tabs, but you've also got your bow thruster. So this is a single diesel with a bow thruster to ease that manoeuvrability. Now I've personally got no issues or complaints with any of the navigation equipment that's installed in this one. I think for weekend cruising she's well equipped, but I did want to highlight how easy it was to open the dash and get to the wiring looms behind it. So if you ever did want to upgrade the electronics, it would be a far easier project to do compared to some of the other boats I've been on. You basically unlatch two hinges, pull the steering wheel forward, and the whole compartment opens up, ready for you to repair, replace, upgrade, or whatever it may be. And then to get to the lower accommodation, we do have a sliding lock-in door. And then it's only a couple of steps down, and first of all you'll arrive at the galley. And just with the main cockpit, this place also has really good headroom. I didn't have any issues manoeuvring around in here. And for the galley you're looking at a microwave oven. And over above that you've got your Fusion stereo, you've got your main control panel. And again, I like how clearly this one's labelled and how it's also illuminated. And then you can see we've got opening hatches here for ventilation. And the galley's got a good setup for worktop space and also storage. You've got a deep fridge here, and those drinks were ice cold. And when this is closed you get extra countertop space. And then next to that you've got an electric stovetop. You've got the faucet and the sink. And then when it comes to the storage compartment, I like the fact that these have all got that push button lock system. So it means that everything would stay safe and secure while the boat was underway, especially if you were to hit rough weather. And then you've also got additional storage underneath the sink, as well as access to the battery isolator switches. And I quite like that the battery isolator switches are in like a central location to the boat. It's pretty much midships. And if we start to pan round and look at the saloon and the main cabin, I love how well presented all the soft furnishings are. This is an extremely comfortable boat, but it's also one that's in fantastic condition. And just like the main cockpit, this one's got a space-saving table. You can use this table fully enclosed, or these leaves can open up. And this table can also be raised and lowered as needed. And I like the deep shine that the woodwork has on this table. It gives the boat that quality feel to it. And again, underneath the seats, you've got the courtesy lighting throughout, but you've also got additional storage underneath these seats as well. Space is always a premium on a boat, especially in the smaller boat where it's 30 foot, but this one makes great use of all available space throughout. And then if you look at this bed, you might be thinking it's far too small to actually be used by an adult, but this one's got a party trick to it. You lift the bed up and there's an extension folds out from underneath. This makes it a very large, very comfortable island berth for weekend cruising. And I also like the fact that you've got overhead hatches, and you can see that this can be used with the blind in place for darkness, but also the mesh blind in place if you wanted to open it but keep the bugs out. There's also a number of portholes that open as well on the side, and again that lets in both light and more ventilation. And the TV that you see mounted on the bulkhead, this TV is actually a smart TV, so that way you can catch up on all your shows and movies on Netflix, Amazon Prime and things like that. And I quite like this clever use for the locker space. Plenty of room in here for weekend cruising, but it's also hidden out the way, non-intrusive. And then that takes us to the heads compartment. Should point out that this one's got a 28-gallon holding tank, she's got 40 gallon of fresh water, and she's also got 175 gallon of fuel. But the toilet itself does have a macerator that leads into the holding tank, and there is plenty of room in here where you can use the toilet as well as a shower. And then as you can see, there's a number of storage here for your toiletries and personal belongings. And then if we head back outside, I'll show you the main engine compartment. The engine is located under the deck of the main cockpit. Now the engine on this one was actually replaced in 2018. The original engine had catastrophic failure and got a plastic bag sucked up through the raw water through hull inlet and caused all sorts of damage to the engine, so rather than repair it, the engine was lifted out and replaced. And what you're looking at here is a Yanmar 6 LPA. It's a 315 horse and it's got around 310 hours on the clock. It's a very clean engine and engine bay, and I love how much access is here for both your day-to-day maintenance, but also for larger projects if you ever needed to down the road. And this engine's actually been prepared for the boat being put on the market. All the zincs, the oil, the fuel and the oil filters and the impeller, that's all been replaced. The boat does have air conditioning, the AC coils has been flushed, the transmission's been serviced. This one really is turnkey, ready to go. And as always, I'd love to thank you for taking the time to watch this one. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. I appreciate Mark allowing me the opportunity to come on board and share this one with you, and I look forward to catching you on the next one. Thanks everyone.